Every time someone labeled as woke or accused of pushing controversial ideas tried to call out Jim Carrey, something unexpected seemed to happen. Years ago, Jim Carrey went on live television and did something that instantly got people talking. Right there in front of the audience, he drew a strange symbol and made a talk show host look completely caught off guard. He started naming powerful groups and sharing opinions that many people believed were way outside the mainstream. Then, in the middle of what he was saying, his phone suddenly rang. The whole conversation seemed to freeze for a moment, almost like someone had flipped a switch. Whether it was just an odd coincidence or something more, viewers have argued about that moment ever since. In this video, you'll see those clips one after another, along with the original footage that sparked years of debate. By the end, you'll understand why one actress is still linked to these conversations, and why people online continue bringing up that mysterious phone call even today. Before jumping to any conclusions, there are two important things to remember. First, the Epstein-related court documents are real and publicly available. They have been reviewed by reporters, investigators, and countless people online who have spent years discussing what they contain. Simply appearing in those records does not by itself prove someone committed wrongdoing, but the documents have fueled a huge amount of public discussion. Second, for more than a decade, many people dismissed Jim Carrey's interviews as bizarre or unbelievable. He spoke about the Illuminati, questioned whether television keeps people distracted, and even mentioned stories about secret gatherings in the woods. At the time, plenty of viewers laughed, shrugged it off, and treated it as just another unusual celebrity interview. But as the years passed, many people started comparing some of his old comments with later headlines and public records, leading to even more debate and speculation. This video is not about proving claims against any single actress or actor. Instead, it looks at a pattern that many people believe connects public figures like Oprah, Naomi Campbell, and Jim Carrey himself. Whether you agree or disagree, pay close attention to how often similar situations seem to repeat. As each clip plays, keep that bigger picture in mind, because once you notice the similarities people point to, it's easy to understand why these interviews continue to attract attention years later. Now let's go back to where many viewers believe everything started. It's 2014, and Jim Carrey is sitting across from Jimmy Kimmel on Jimmy Kimmel Live with a packed studio audience watching every move. Then, without warning, he draws a symbol in the air and on his hand. He calls it the all-mocking tongue. After that, he looks Kimmel directly in the eye and tells him he is part of the Illuminati. Then he looks Kimmel dead in the eye and tells him he is part of the Illuminati.
Oh, thank you for coming. What is that exactly? Is that a gang sign? Have you,
Oh, like you don't know what it is.
Yes, he said it live on television, looking directly at the host while the cameras kept rolling for everyone watching at home. The moment immediately grabbed attention because it was so unexpected. He didn't stop there either. He went on to claim that talk show hosts, sitcom stars, and other TV personalities are there to keep people entertained, so they never stop to ask bigger questions. He also joked about stories of powerful people gathering in the woods to make major decisions, all while smiling as if it was the funniest thing he had ever said. Some viewers laughed it off, while others wondered if there was a deeper message behind the joke.
Seriously, the time is up. People are hip to this kind of stuff. I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati, and you're a part of it, and it is the all-mocking tongue.
Here's the part that still gets people talking today. Some viewers have claimed that the atmosphere inside the studio felt much quieter than what was heard in the version that aired. Others have speculated that the broadcast's audio made the moment seem more comedic than it may have felt to those who were there. Think about that for a second. If the scene really came across differently in the studio than it did on television, it's easy to see why people continue debating it years later. Whether it was simply normal TV editing or something else, that small detail has become one of the biggest talking points. Sometimes it's the little moments that keep a story alive and make people look at an old interview from a completely different angle. Just as Carey keeps speaking more boldly and bringing up topics that are rarely discussed on major television, the conversation suddenly takes another unexpected turn.
Now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile so you don't know what's really going on. You know, when they get out there in the woods in a circle naked and they decide these things and, you know, and you know, look at them trying to.
Then, right in the middle of the conversation, his phone suddenly rings while the cameras are still rolling and everyone is watching.
On a second. You know what they're trying to do? Who? This thing is buzzing. Hold on. They're trying to turn us into, consumer drones.
He answers the call, and just like that, the conversation comes to an abrupt end. The discussion about the Illuminati is dropped, and the interview quickly shifts to something completely different, as if that topic had never come up in the first place. Was it simply an ordinary phone call, or was the timing just an incredible coincidence? Nobody knows for sure, and there is no public evidence explaining why the conversation changed so suddenly. Even so, that moment has continued to spark debate for years because many viewers found the timing unusual. Whatever was said during the call, the interview moved on immediately, and the subject was never revisited that night. To many people watching, it felt like one of those moments that raised more questions than answers. Whether you see it as coincidence or not, it's easy to understand why the clip still gets shared online all these years later. Then the attention shifts to the Ellen DeGeneres show, where Jim Carrey once again creates another unforgettable moment. This time, he draws a symbol on the studio floor that some viewers believed resembled 666.
Jim Carrey's artwork on our floor that will be there forever now.
Forever and ever.
All right. And
yep.
So it is the characters. It's Dumb and Dumber 2.
That's right.
Yeah.
Me and Jeff. That's right. Yep. It's just another shameless plug.
That will be there forever. I don't know why more people.
Watch Ellen's reaction closely during that clip. Some viewers believe her usual calm, polished TV smile changes for a brief moment, making the exchange stand out even more. At the time, most people dismissed it as just another one of Jim Carrey's unpredictable comedy moments, and the audience largely treated it as part of the show. Years later, however, many people began revisiting the interview and interpreting it differently in light of later events and public discussions. What once looked like a simple joke is now viewed by some as carrying a deeper message, while others still see it as nothing more than Carrey's unique sense of humor. This is where many online discussions begin connecting different stories together. Jim Carrey has often suggested that people in the entertainment industry know more than they publicly say, although he has offered those views as his own opinions. After Epstein-related court documents became public, Naomi Campbell became one of the names widely discussed in media coverage surrounding those records.
You managed to make it clear that you were not aware of Epstein activities. Did you know who he was?
Yes, I knew him. I was introduced to him on my 31st birthday by my ex-boyfriend Flavio. He was always front and center at Victoria's Secret shows.
Did you suspect what he was doing?
No, and what he's done is indefensible. And when I heard of what he'd done, it sickened me to my stomach, just like everybody else. Because I've had my fair share of sexual predators, and thank God that I had good people around me that protected me from this.
In that clip, Naomi Campbell denies having any meaningful connection to Jeffrey Epstein. She responds confidently and appears surprised by the question, making it clear that she rejects the suggestion of any close association.
Released documents about convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein by the U.S. Justice Department repeatedly reference British supermodel Naomi Campbell. A New York Times review of the documents found that Campbell's name appears in nearly 300 files, alongside other powerful figures linked to Epstein. Emails show Campbell requested flights on Epstein's private jet and planned visits to his New York mansion, often coordinated by his longtime assistant, Leslie Groff. In interviews, victims told federal investigators that they saw Campbell at Epstein's mansion and private island, and said he introduced her at social gatherings. According to the interview transcripts, Epstein would name-drop Campbell when recruiting young women, suggesting she could help them launch modeling careers.
But here's where the debate becomes even more intense. Publicly available Epstein-related court records include Naomi Campbell's name multiple times, including references connected to flight logs and other documents. However, being named in those records does not, by itself, establish that a person committed any wrongdoing, and the meaning of those references has been widely debated. That contrast between public statements and public records is exactly the kind of situation that many people say Jim Carrey was pointing to in his interviews. Whether you agree with that interpretation or not, it's one reason these conversations continue years later. As more documents and headlines emerged, many viewers began comparing old interviews with newer information, looking for patterns they believed were worth discussing. According to those who follow these stories, this is where the conversation starts repeating itself from one public figure to another. Next, the focus shifts to Oprah Winfrey, whose name has also been part of ongoing online discussions and speculation.
Was, needless to say, devastated and really shaken to my core.
Winfrey said she was disappointed in the former headmistress.
And you were devastated because the cat was out of the bag. People starting to find out what the heck you doing. Everybody, you and Ellen. Ellen done left the country. She's supposed to be on her way back, y'all. It's safe. Don't nobody want you back, girl.
And was actively involved in covering it up.
I was, needless to say, devastated and really shaken to my core.
Oprah spent decades building a public image centered on generosity, philanthropy, and trust. One of her most well-known projects was the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls in South Africa, which she often described as one of her proudest achievements. That reputation was shaken when serious allegations surfaced against a former dormitory matron at the school, who was accused of abusing students. The story quickly made international headlines, and Oprah later addressed the situation publicly, saying she was deeply saddened and committed to helping the investigation. Even after the intense media coverage, the controversy continued to spark debate and raise difficult questions for many people. And the story doesn't end there.
Nygard, and Oprah Winfrey's former spiritual healer, has been sentenced to 99 years in prison after being found guilty of heinous crime trafficking operation sold to childless couples. Now, how you kicking it with a cat that's doing all this shit? And you ain't peeping game? You ain't seeing this dude's moves? This guy right here, man, damn, 600 women and young girls, that's a whole lot.
Oprah also interviewed and publicly featured a Brazilian faith healer known as John of God, introducing him to a massive global audience at the time. Years later, John of God was arrested and later convicted in Brazil for numerous sexual abuse offenses. Separately, his name has also appeared in public discussions and reporting related to Jeffrey Epstein, adding another layer to ongoing public speculation and debate.
Have a kind of a monopoly on this genetic perfection, and we want some of that. So, girls, for $100, we will pay you for your egg.
I pay you $100, monkey.
So how much do you want for it? Let's bid. I bid $500 for the Olympic.
Then there is Peter Nygard, another public figure who appeared on Oprah's platform before later facing serious criminal allegations and legal cases. Video clips circulated online that many people pointed to as controversial, drawing even more public attention to his conduct. None of these events by themselves prove wrongdoing by Oprah. Courts determine legal responsibility, not social media or YouTube videos. Even so, some people have questioned the series of controversies surrounding individuals who were featured on her platform over the years. They point to the school scandal, her past interview with John of God, and Peter Nygard's later legal troubles as reasons for asking difficult questions. Others argue that appearing on a major talk show does not mean the host knew about future misconduct. The debate continues, and opinions remain divided. Jim Carrey once shared the opinion, "The smiles in this industry are rehearsed and the silence is deliberate." Whether people agree with that statement or not, many have revisited it while looking back at old interviews and entertainment headlines. His comments continue to fuel discussion among viewers who believe there are larger patterns inside the industry. Another story that often comes up in these conversations involves a woman named Gabrielle Rico Guarino. Years ago, she publicly described disturbing experiences that she said happened after attending a party. In interviews, she appeared deeply emotional, and while some people took her claims seriously, others questioned her account. The case generated attention online, but was surrounded by conflicting reports and speculation. Later, reports about her situation became even more confusing, with claims that she had been arrested and then largely disappeared from the public eye. Because many details remain disputed or unverified, the story has continued to spark questions rather than clear answers. Looking back, some people believe her claims deserved more attention, while others caution against drawing conclusions without confirmed evidence. For many viewers, these different stories are connected by one common theme: people speaking publicly, followed by years of debate over what really happened. Whether those events are related or simply coincidences remains a matter of opinion, but they continue to be discussed together across the internet. That ongoing conversation leads into yet another unusual story involving Barbara Marx Hubbard, a well-known author and public speaker who was widely recognized for her ideas and influence. During one speech about human evolution, Barbara Marx Hubbard says the words, "The babies we eat." The phrase immediately caught the attention of viewers because it sounded so unexpected and out of place in the middle of her remarks. Many people have debated what she meant. Some believe it was nothing more than a simple verbal mistake or an awkwardly phrased sentence, while others have continued to speculate about it. Without additional evidence, there is no way to know her intended meaning, but the clip has remained a topic of discussion for years because of how unusual it sounded. For viewers who revisit Jim Carrey's old interviews, moments like this often become part of a much larger conversation about surprising statements, strange coincidences, and unforgettable television moments. Whether you see those events as connected or completely unrelated, they continue to spark debate and keep people watching those clips with fresh eyes. Now, let's bring the focus back to Jim Carrey one more time, because his role in this story isn't over yet. Go back and watch his Golden Globe speech closely. It became another moment that people are still discussing today.
We are the first species on the face of this earth to be aware of evolution, to be aware that we are affecting our own evolution by everything that we do. The babies we eat, the food we eat, the wars we fight.
Standing on one of Hollywood's biggest stages, surrounded by many of the industry's most recognizable faces, Jim Carrey said that fame, success, and awards do not bring the lasting happiness that many people expect. His comments stood out because they challenged the traditional image of Hollywood while he was speaking directly to the people who helped build it. Then came another unforgettable moment on the red carpet, where he described the entire event as meaningless while cameras rolled and reporters listened closely. The unexpected remarks quickly spread online and became another interview that people still revisit years later.
Thank you. I am two-time Golden Globe winner Jim Carrey. You know, when I go to sleep at night, I'm not just a guy, but these are important, these awards.
Many people laughed nervously at the time, and plenty of viewers assumed Jim Carrey was simply being unpredictable or trying to shock the audience. Years later, however, those same interviews continue to be shared, analyzed, and debated by people who see them in a completely different light. What makes Jim Carrey stand out is that he was willing to challenge popular ideas on some of the biggest stages in entertainment.
Tell me, is it true you're wandering the streets? You need a date to the party? What's up?
No. I'm doing just fine. I just, there's no meaning to any of this. So I wanted to find the most meaningless thing that I could come to and join, and here I am.
They're celebrating.
You got to admit it's completely meaningless.
Well, they say they're celebrating icons inside.
Celebrating icons, boy, that is just the absolute lowest aiming, possibility that we could come up with. It's like icons. Do you believe in icons? I don't believe in personalities. I don't believe that you exist, but there is a wonderful fragrance in the air.
You don't believe certain icons have the power to make change, to think differently, to be bold, to inspire others? Artistry? You're one of them.
On the good foot. Ha! Yeah. You shut it down now. Yeah, no, I don't believe in icons. I don't believe in personalities. I believe that peace lies beyond personality, beyond invention and disguise, beyond the red S that you wear on your chest that makes bullets bounce off.
Whether his comments were deep observations, personal opinions, or simply provocative humor, They have continued to spark conversations long after those interviews first aired. That lasting impact is one reason people still return to those clips today. Some people online have even joked that the Jim Carrey we see now feels very different from the version the public watched years ago. Whatever someone believes about that change, there's no denying that his old interviews continue to generate discussion and keep people asking questions. Now it's your turn. Do you think Jim Carrey was raising questions that deserved more attention? Or do you think people have read too much into his words over the years? Share your honest opinion in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves uncovering fascinating stories and unforgettable celebrity moments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.